everybody. You know, the weather here has been more rain. It's been like spring, not like early summer. We get like a couple days of rain and then a nice day and a couple days, and it's definitely been cooler. Now the orchids are happy, but when I go in the garden or pick raspberries, which we're doing every second day, you stir up all the mosquitoes that normally aren't too bad, just walking around in the yard. They don't bother you, but you go in the bushes and they bother you. So I was picking raspberries the other day, and I got so many bites, I said, I have to make something for when I'm in the garden. Jack said, well, you can use my cowboy hat. And we had this old screen I used to have on the greenhouse. So I got out the sewing machine, almost sewed my finger. Now, I've been sewing a lot of years since school. How I did that, it was tricky because you had to sew around the outside. So now when I go to the garden and when I am protected because I did this. Yes. Anyway, I won't be wearing it today. Today we're going to do a tour of the garden, to the greenhouse, to the front, and a quick talk here about a few orchids. But I'll show you what I did here. Now this was a hat that was a little small for Jack, and it had material around the edge, so I just sewed the screen around, and I put some little ties here, but I don't know that I need to use them. They won't get in, but there was some holes right here, and I thought mosquitoes could get, so I just kind of glue gunned this. It's not pretty, but, and this is because I always love you. The more we love everybody, the happier the world will be. So I had to show you this, and I had to patch a couple holes that were in it with this too. So there, I have bites all around. I think they got in my hair, and then they just kept, I was covered everywhere else. I put on like a thick jacket and long pants and spray them, but I don't like to spray my head and my skin, so therefore I paid the price. So we'll put that there. Now, I moved the dendrobiums out onto the table here, and I'll show you a close-up after, but they get pretty well, it's a shaded full sun, but they get lots of light because I want flowers next year. And what I'm going to do is get the camera, show you some close-ups, and we're going to start our tour right away. And I hope you're staying safe and having fun. And we're going to get rid of that bad bug. Okay, I'll just unhook this. There. I just have I could show it to you. I have it screwed in. It's just a little, for anybody that's interested, just a little stand that I use that I can quickly take off. Sometimes I take it with me, but I don't want to do that today. So on the table are my dendrobiums, where they get pretty good light here, probably better than on the shelving. So I moved them there. They can stay out here till it's real cold, almost freezing. So we're not too worried about them. And the new fountain with the lava rock is busy going, adding humidity. And the humidity is about 53, and the temperature is 80 Fahrenheit. So that's what's happening here. It's a little bit overcast today. Now on watering day, which was Wednesday, some of my leaves, you might want to consider this too when you're watering. Like if I'm watering, even though I wipe them off, some of the leaves are a little close, and I'll quite often stick a paper towel till the air gets through and they dry. or here, I use one of the little pads just till they're dry. I just never got around to taking them out. We have lots of signs of growth happening, lots of new leaves coming. Of course, this was my Valentine one, and things are looking pretty good down in here. And I think we're going to be okay. I'll probably check in the pot before I bring them in the fall. So then it gets a check to see. But all these roots are doing really well. That's the nice thing about aerial roots. It does help them a lot when they're just been repotted. So this was a new leaf. It's a little shorter, but I think it'll perk up. And down here, this is my mother. Oh, she got some water in her? She does. I better dab that out. So that's what I'm doing on watering day. I didn't mean to get her wet in there. There we go. And this is the baby. It's got 2 leaves. I have no idea how this is all going to work. Never done it before. But I'm hoping we have a baby plant. I just moved them out so I could see it. I must have got some water. Okay, so lots of new leaves happening here. We want to get as many leaves as possible because you need 2 leaves. Like say your last spike was here and there isn't one. Then you need 2 more leaves before you get another spike. And to get a double spike, you need that on both sides. So if you go to your orchid and you start counting back, that's a new leaf there. It's doing well. So like here's an old spike. So 1, 2. It should get one in here this year, and it might get one here. So that's why we want as many leaves to grow as possible if we want those double spikes. And the Fel Memoria Rettig that everybody, very few of them around on the internet, but it has a little baby new leaf coming. It just had another leaf. It's the best it's looked, and I found it just doesn't like the sun that the other Fels do. So that's what's happening here. Seems everything is okay. I think it was a good idea to add some of the charcoal to this one too, seeing that there's rocks in there anyway. So let's head out on that tour. Okay. Now on the line over here, I guess we'll go this way. We went garage sale and there was only 2 today, but I got this caribou hide. It was $5, and my daughter does Celtic things and makes all kinds of stuff. She's really into it, and it's clean and everything, and it's in really good shape. So I picked it up for $5. She doesn't know about it unless she watches. Sometimes she watches videos, but she's in Kamloops. So anyway, we're going to lay it out when she comes, and she'll get a big surprise. So that's her surprise. And as you can see, the raspberries are loaded because of all the rain. So therefore bugs, you start disturbing those bushes and out they come. And I get bit and I get swelled up, itchy bumps that seem to last for weeks. And the lavender is all out. And there's bees around. I love the bees. They need to go into the greenhouse. So, yeah, lots of bees here. That's the good thing about lavender. And it's kind of a rocky area here. I don't really look after that much. Just let them do what they want to do. So, let's go in the greenhouse. Now, I cut some of the points off of these because they stick you when you come in, and this one stuck me, and I thought, okay, it's just getting so unruly. So in here, rather than have these vines crawling around the floor, I thought I'd try them. Now, I don't think all of them have been getting fertilized. There's not enough bugs coming in here, but we have some cucumbers coming here. I got 2 I'm going to pick. And some of them didn't get fertilized, so the ones that didn't, they'll just fall off. And the ones, yeah, like this one, it'll fall off. But the ones that get the fertilizer, that get fertilized, they'll stay on. So we can just hope. I have some little melons here. So I think some bugs are getting in here. Wasps are once in a while. So we got melons, and we'll see later in the year. I've never put them in here for the summer. So, oh, see the ants? Well, I've got vinegar and Dawn soap, and I spray them because what happens is they go up the lemon tree, and they don't like this soap, but I washed the floor so there was none left, but you can see them on the leaves. Then I'm forever washing these leaves because of the ants. I don't like to spray the soap in the tree. There's lots of blossoms coming, and lemons, new leaves, so. And same with the oranges. There's some oranges. And there's some scale, and I keep washing it off. But that's the trouble with the ants. I'm going to get some of those little pins. But what happens is, of course, this is just ground level, and there's tons all over the property, and they just come in. They're all over the hillside. And so that's what's happening. This is the play sand. This is what I use on my house plants, about a ½ inch thick, just to, if it's a house plant that needs more water and is damper, and it'll attract all right, is anybody yelling at me now? Anyway, it'll attract those little flies, gnats, like, and you don't want them like fruit flies or gnats, whatever. Anyway. So I put that on because if they lay anything in that ground, the little larvae, they can't get out from the sand. So then the gnats, they can't have babies, so they go away. So I keep that on my houseplants, and we just bought another bag. It's just clear sand. Make sure you don't use something that has fillers or dyes or something. But so that's what's happening in the greenhouse. Now we'll head to the garden. Come over that way later. Okay, boy. So there's more raspberries here, so we have to keep it rotor-tilled back in the garden so it doesn't creep right over the entire garden. But I make jam and juice and pretty well everything. Okay, we have onions everywhere because Jack came home with 3 bags. They were only $3, 3 different kinds. So I put onions everywhere. So they're coming good. They're all along here. And I just have a crowded garden. How things do so well, I don't know. But the tomatoes are coming. When we get a little more sun, I'll start letting them more air in, but there's lots of tomatoes in there coming. So now here we got Brussels sprouts coming, and if you look down here, because of this damp weather that they are coming down in here, we look like we're going to get lots of, and I'm going to ferment some of them, eat some of them. Look, there's a dandelion. I'm not the best weeder. Anybody can tell you that. I hoe, that's what I do. We've been eating broccoli steady, so this is where we pick our broccoli. And the garlic's pretty now ready to pull. And this is where I pick my cabbage. Now they look kind of awful. These were the smaller ones. I picked the biggest one. You have to pick these off, and inside they're nice. The bugs get in the outside one. And over here we have zucchini. And it's time to eat a couple of those. Try not to have too many of those. So, and all up here is potatoes, and because I don't have a lot of dirt that I can dig up and throw over them, as Jack mows the lawn, I throw the sand clippings in there, or the grass, and they're starting to flower now, and we should be getting nice potatoes. So, yes, there's lots of tomatoes. These are Romas. Up there those are all beefsteak, a smaller breed of beefsteak. And we put these kind of tents with wires so that instead of crawling along the ground, the squash can crawl up. So, they've had such terrible rainy weather, I'm surprised they're not all mildewy. But our garden sits high because everything drains off quite quickly. So here we go. And here we have all the peppers that in the fall I chop up and freeze, just how they are. Bag them, freeze them. They're all different kinds of large Mexican peppers that we ate from the grocery store and then saved the seeds a couple years ago. Now I keep saving them every time we eat them. And we got beans here. Now, the beets don't like a lot of sun, so they're growing under the squash. They're coming up nicely. And I got more rhubarb and more beans over here and squash. Now, this is why I need a thing if I start coming out here. I got my hat on now and I can come out and weed. I am trying to grow some melons out here, and they're protected by that. But the weather hasn't been too good for them, so that's what's happening in the garden. Okay. Maybe I'll come around there. So, peach tree, they're starting to get some. Of course, they've had a lot of rain, but the leaves look good. Maggie, Maggie, come here. Maggie, come here. Come here. That's the neighbor's dog. Okay. So, this is all easy keep. I don't do a lot of work. Spring, I clean up, then I pretty well leave it. And I'm a little bit of a kid in me likes some of these things. So, I'll show you this way, and then I want to go out to the front. And these are our grapes. We have more grapes on the other side of the garden. Now, those of you who saw the last video, I had taken a lettuce and chopped it off, and I just put the root in here. So this is it, and it's ready. And here we have cucumbers coming here, quick and easy to run from the house to get. And of course I used some of the kale in my fermented jar with the cabbage. And over here, here's some chopped off lettuce that it's growing. See? They keep coming. And I've put beans in here, so when the ones in the garden have finished and I've picked and frozen and eaten, then these ones will be ready. And we've been eating peas. So this is our cool patio, but we're not going up. We're going to go around. Of course, these are the cymbidiums, and this is the one that got eaten by the rat or something. So I don't know how it's going to do, but I haven't repotted it. There is new ones coming, so we'll see. And this is the moringa, and I got onions in there too. So this shed, it was way down, pushed up against the side of the house, and Jack and I put these logs and rolled it, and oh, heavy job, and moved it to back here. It's much better there. It was one of those jobs. So, and my castle, I hauled all that slate off a mountain and built the frame myself. I had this vision, and oh my goodness, it hasn't fallen apart. And it was one of those jobs you start and you just think, why on earth did I do that? And I remember why. We have a fireplace there, and everything I planted there died, and it was like a dead spot there. So that was the reason. So, okay, let's head down to the front. Okay, these bushes, they grow around the side of the house, and I never water them. They're easy to look after, and they do attract bees. The bees seem to like them. Maggie, you stay. You stay. Mom will be back. No barking. No. Okay. 2 apple trees. There's a couple apples on this one coming around there. There's some apples there. This one has a little more, but some of them are spots. I think I'm going to be thinning that one. So, all the geraniums that last year took a real beating from the early frost that was unexpected, they're all starting to recover. Now this plant, and I don't know the name of it, about 5 years ago, we were at a garage sale and there was free plants, and I've never done anything until this year. So now it's doing some. What it is, I don't know. So one morning there was a cat laying on the lady's leg and another cat laying here. My brother was visiting, and he said they just slowly got up and walked off down the road together. Oh, there's Mom. There she is. Oh, she's going to hide. She's doing her puzzle. And there's the zinnias. These I all started from seed, so they're coming quite nicely. This is a perennial, so it can stay in the pot. Don't ask me names. I'm not that up on that stuff. Orchids maybe, but not. So, and these geraniums, they get this extra shade, but still the heat. And of course, they're the ivy ones, so they're quite happy with that. So that's about it. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time and see what mischief we're getting into. Bye for now.